All right, Cougars, happy Thursday. So Thursday's workout is called Up and Under for a 10-minute Amrap. That's as many rounds and reps as possible. We are going to perform 10 renegade rows into 8 double dumbbell deadlifts into 6 double dumbbell push press into a 200-meter run. So again, this workout is still going to be for as many rounds and reps as possible. So we haven't gotten to a workout where we've had, rounds for time, like where we need to get like 5 rounds for completion or complete the workout. This way it kind of gives us a little bit more of an opportunity for athletes to kind of slow their intensity down and perfect their movements on technique and mechanics before increasing intensity. So you might see some more athletes who are newer perform less rounds and reps. We're kind of looking for them to just keep moving for 10 minutes versus some higher level athletes who have been CrossFitting for quite a while, moving weight for quite a while, have technique and mechanics down very well, and can up the intensity and, complete more rounds and reps. So for this workout, you are going to need 2 dumbbells to perform this workout. This is not going to work out well if you do single dumbbells. You can perform it with a single dumbbell, but it's not going to be nearly as much as the same for how we had written it and programmed it. I will show you, though, the single dumbbell first and then go into how it is programmed with the double dumbbell. So definitely make sure you get a specific warm-up in. With your specific warm-up, make sure, again, that is in relation to the movements that you're going to do. So renegade rows, I would probably recommend doing some inchworms, starting at the top, walking down to the bottom, doing some alternating shoulder taps. I recommend doing some slow negative push-ups, worming it back up. Definitely maintaining a little bit of a warm down and a warm up just to warm up shoulders. Going into a downward dog, just working on some little stretching and back openers right here. Definitely maybe go into a couple of toe touchers for the deadlifts. Remembering that we want to either touch at our heels, and we can have a micro bend in our knees, or just get as low down to the ground as we possibly can. You also might look into picking up a lightweight and performing a couple of those lightweight strict press. So picking up a dumbbell with a safe back, go ahead and hold the dumbbell, single dumbbell, both arms, stack the feet directly underneath the hips. Just get some dumbbell strict press to warm up. Once you're warmed up with strict press, do some, again, flaring of the knees out, micro bend for that dip drive for some push press that you're gonna see in the workout today. For the workout movement specifically, we're going to have renegade rows. Renegade rows are going to be just where we are rowing and pulling with the dumbbell. We are not doing a push-up at the bottom, so please don't confuse this with man makers. If you want to up your game and do a push and a pull, you are more than welcome to. I just want to let you know that it's going to be much longer, though, for those 10 reps to be taken care of. 10 man makers is really, really long, so I would change that to like maybe 5 each round and just do 5, 8, 6. But let's go ahead and work on renegade rows. Renegade rows are essentially going to be where we place the dumbbells directly underneath our shoulders. For those of us doing the RX movement, that means as prescribed, I'm going to stack my hands directly over the tops of my shoulders. I'm in my tabletop position. I look like a table because my arms and my knees, those are the 4 legs. However, I'm going to kick my feet out nice and straight into that high plank position. And a renegade row is just as it sounds. I'm going to, again, minimize the amount of hip rotation and shoulder rotation. And I'm just going to pull each dumbbell up one at a time, touching the tops of the shoulders, maintaining midline stabilizers, and continue to perform 1 rep per each arm. So I'm going to row 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. If we need to modify this movement, I recommend either maintaining a tabletop position and, again, finding stability and balance and form when still rowing. This is still a great movement to do. If you are also finding still that it's a little too easy for you, you want to provide a little bit more difficulty, go out into that plank position, but widen the feet for a little bit more wider support to also help you in that position. Depending on how your abdominals feel from earlier this week from doing 32 pack, you might go for a modified position. But we are typically looking for you to perform that row with a nice, tight midline core section. After those 10 rows, go ahead and make sure that with a safe position after you warmed up your deadlift, you're gonna go ahead and reach down with a safe back, grab the dumbbells on either sides of the heads with hips go back, driving through the heels. I'm just going to stand up with proper form. To come back down, remember we're gonna send hips, 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 hips. We're gonna keep those knees directly, essentially next to my forearms. I'm in a straight line. If I let go of one dumbbell here, you can see that this shoulder is directly in a line with my elbow. My elbow is touching my knee. The big thing is making sure our knees are back and my hips are high, as opposed to knees forward and my hips down. This is more of a squat position. That's our clean. We're not looking for that. We're looking for a deadlift position where I maintain a flat back. If it's hard to get down nice and low there because dumbbells do have a tendency to get really low, prop them up with something so they start at a higher position. You don't have to bend as far down. Grabbing onto those dumbbells though, I'm just going to deadlift up by driving through heels, touching the heads of the dumbbells to the ground. So after 10 renegade rows, I go into 8 double dumbbell deadlifts. Then I go ahead and stand up, swing the dumbbells to the tops of the shoulders. I'll do a forward facing view of this, and I can now go into my push press, which is a dip drive. So I'm gonna micro bend with those knees, dip and drive, and press the dumbbells to the locked position, the overhead. After again, 6 double dumbbell push press, I set the dumbbells down and I take off my 200 meter run. If you don't know where 200 meters is, you can go ahead and run for about typically 30 seconds is about a 200 meter run, and call that a round. So again, 10-minute Amrap, you're gonna come in and start with the 10 renegade rows. So row right, that's 1, row left, that's 2, all the way up to 10 reps. Then you'll do 8 deadlifts into 6 push press and then a 200 meter run. Cool? If you don't have equipment, you're gonna perform odd object movements with bent over rows, deadlifting and push pressing still. So for today, my odd object is going to be my water jug. I can fill it up and make this heavier or lighter based upon the movements I'm going to do. Sometimes in movements like this, where we might need a little bit lighter, like piece of equipment for like an overhead movement, not a full body movement, like a deadlift is a full body movement, you can always have multiple pieces of equipment to meet your needs. So I highly recommend, like going out in the desert and getting those rocks, highly recommend having 2 jugs of water and filling them up for double handled deadlifts. These are about $3 from Walmart, actually. I looked them up, so you can check these out. Anyways, you can go ahead and use your odd object, and filling a water jug is a good one for that. So for your first movement for that bent over row, again, we're gonna hold on to that object, whether it's a backpack or a water. We're gonna soften those knees. We're gonna send hips, 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 till again, I got my arms fully extended. I'm pressing down to the ground, extending those arms. I've got that nice tight core and flat back, and I'm just gonna pull again my elbows and hugging those nice to the rib cage, touching the shoulders and the chest, and then all the way back down. So again, these bent over rows, I may not get full range of motion due to the object getting in the way, but I promise you, you'll still get a good workout by having weight versus no weight. Another great thing you can do is, if the object is getting in the way, just like the dumbbells, grab 2 rocks, or grab 2 of these with handles, like we talked about our gallon milk jugs, filling them up, and then I can get more full range motion. So think about that as you do that. The next movement is going to be those deadlifts. I have this handle here. This is for the full water jug to be reinforced. So absolutely, you can do single odd object deadlifts, sending hips back, butt down. You do notice that I maybe don't get necessarily full range of motion, but I'm still getting a deadlift. This is absolutely perfect. Again, if you have 2 of those, it's the same thing. We're just gonna go ahead and have the object come on either side of the body, just like we do with the dumbbells. You can even use these with rocks still. just don't go all the way down. Just go a quarter of the way to right to mid shin and then stand right back up. You don't have to touch the ground. For last movement, that push press, we're gonna take that water jug, we're gonna place it into the upper chest area, and again, we're going to dip and drive and press the water bottle into the overhead. Now, if you did yesterday's workout, Cairo's workout is almost, with odd objects, is almost exactly the same as this. So, I definitely recommend, if you did yesterday and you are getting ready to do this workout and you don't have equipment, don't do this no equipment workout. You can do still the deadlifts, but we already did essentially shoulder to overhead yesterday. You can definitely do the bent over rows, but I would not do pressing again. I would sub it out for something completely different. I would probably sub it out for maybe a different cardio piece. So definitely, you know, just add in some, you know, burpees again, or add in some jumping jacks or some mountain climbers, or an abdominal piece. Add something else in those so that you're not getting shoulder to overhead on Wednesday and then shoulder to overhead again on Thursday. It's just too much, okay? We'll try to be more mindful about that when programming, but right now it ended up being that some of these workouts kind of ended up being the same with no equipment, all right? I'm ready for any of your questions. Thank you.